people generally respond to confidence. So if you're like me and you suffer from major imposter syndrome in every part of your life, it can get pretty debilitating and get in the way of your goals, since people see that you don't think that you're qualified to do the thing that you're trying to do. So why should they let you do that thing, right? The good news is, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, it's most likely because you intentionally put yourself in a place where your inner critic feels you don't deserve to be. Meaning there's a part of you that is confident enough to put yourself in that situation in the first place, regardless of what your inner critic thought. So we want to nurture that part of ourselves until we have successfully figured out the way to tame our inner critic, which is really just a collection of doubting voices in our minds that we've collected over the years. Generally, the consensus of dealing with imposter syndrome has been fake it till you make it. I mean, it's not like you have to let people know on the first day of a job that you're feeling like a total outsider and maybe even unqualified to do the thing that you're being paid to do, or that you don't feel like you belong in a certain social circle or with a group of friends and you think that they're way cooler than you are, and you can just fake it and then they'll think that you're one of them, right? I don't know about you, but I find it pretty hard to fake things. I usually just end up looking silly and foolish. So here are some of the things that I do in order to get rid of my imposter syndrome. First of all, avoid places that make you feel uncomfortable and judged. Create a safe space around yourself. Be generous with the block button on social media. Hang around people who make you feel confident, even if you don't feel confident on your own. Remember, it's no one's job to give you your safe space, but you can certainly create your own. And that involves spending time around with people who are willing to give it to you. Now that you have all this time away from the judgment and in your safe space, spend it doing the things that make you feel confident and worthy. For me, working out and feeling like I have a hot body makes me feel confident. Joining the pole dancing class was one thing I did last year that really helped me build up my confidence. Another major thing that will immediately stop you from feeling like an outsider is just not being an outsider. Go where you are the boss. If you're not accepted at a certain job, maybe start looking elsewhere for a job, somewhere where you'll be accepted. Maybe even consider the self-employed lifestyle. If you're not accepted at the place where you live and pay rent, like happened to me so many times in the past, being kicked out of the places where I used to live or feeling like an unwelcome guest in the place where you're paying rent, do what I did. Move somewhere where you can afford to buy your own place. And trust me, the people who say that it won't make a difference because home is where the heart is, blah, 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 that's a load of shit. Having my own space that I can do whatever I want to feels incredible. I belong here and you don't, unless you're invited, and even then you're still a guest in my house. Dude, having my own property feels so incredibly good. I know I said I would try not to talk too much about real estate on my personal channel because it has its own separate channel, but this is exactly why I went into real estate. Owning my own physical space is a definition of belonging somewhere. My imposter syndrome pretty much disappeared once I bought this house. And don't get me wrong, it still comes back. You know, like if I'm somewhere where I don't feel like I fit in, or with my career, whether it's being a YouTuber or whether working in real estate, sometimes I still feel like a fraud that doesn't really deserve to be acting like a master of these topics. But the more I work on these skills while also avoiding the places and people who make me doubt myself, the easier it gets over time. And I think that that applies for everybody. Hopefully that was helpful. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.